Fraser Chesterman, as you know. I'm really pleased to say I've got two lovely guys with me today. I've got Ivor Heller, Commercial Director of AFC Wimbledon, which for me is personally very exciting because I'm a big AFC Wimbledon fan, and there's loads of exciting stuff going on at that football ground and at the within the team. And I'm also very pleased to have a very good friend of mine, Ray Baxter, who works for Insite Graphics just across the road from the New Plough Lane ground, and is working very closely with Ivor and the team there, doing lots of very interesting stuff from the sign and graphic market and printing all sorts of really creative stuff for Wimbledon in the forthcoming future. So, gents, just to say hi to you both. Ray, hi. Just give us a quick intro of yourself.
Hi there. Hello there. Hello, Ivor. So, yeah, my name is Ray Baxter. Ray Baxter, Commercial Director at Insite Graphics. Our business is based almost within 300 metres of the new AFC football ground, and we're delighted to be print partners with AFC. Ivor and I's connection goes back many years, really, Fraser. Probably 20 years I've known him from the football family. But more recently, Insite Graphics joined the AFC Business Club, which is a really cracking club. We meet once every month, and it could be curry, it could be table tennis. Once Ivor got me on the stage at a comedy club, night to be forgotten. So that's just how when we met, and we'll talk about it in a minute, but we're sort of poised to be, say, a print partner to AFC, a local club, which we're delighted to support, really.
Brilliant. And Ivor, over to you. As Commercial Director of AFC Wimbledon?
Yeah, I'm the Commercial Director of AFC Wimbledon. I've been so for the last 18 plus years. I'm very proud to have seen the club start as a more or less a purely amateur setup, with a semi-professional background, and then progress all the way into the Football League, and eventually achieving the nirvana of moving back to Wimbledon, which is where we belong. And as soon as we do, we're going to drop that AFC bit because we are Wimbledon. You do know that, don't you?
Brilliant. Yeah, I mean, it's a great story, isn't it? It's a great story. You know, coming from kind of a bit of a Phoenix kind of club, supporters running around a Wimbledon Common, trying to get into the team. Just a great story.
Yeah, it is, but it's quite funny, really. I don't. The Phoenix word is what you would use for a club that's gone bust and has to rise from the ashes of that. We were not. We were an embryonic club, because the Wimbledon Football Club didn't actually. It sold out basically, and we didn't allow that to happen, and we kept Wimbledon's Football Club going, and eventually we've managed to get Wimbledon's Football Club after nearly 30 years back into Wimbledon, and that is truly a renaissance of some magnitude, I feel. And
an amazing achievement, really, isn't it? The amount of years it's taken to get from whatever it was, combined counties, the early days of the club, back to playing League One, playing teams like Sunderland, Ipswich, Portsmouth, and looking forward to all those games at the new ground. It's I mean, that is the bit, that at the moment, if there's one bit that's got me a little bit on a downer, is that I'm working so hard to try and get everything ready for the new ground and so on. And then when it is ready, we're going to open our doors, and we might not be opening our doors to anybody. So it's almost like only Wimbledon can have a nomadic existence for 30 years. And then just as we decide to come home, we try to come home in the middle of a bloody pandemic. Yeah, absolutely.
I mean, you couldn't have written that, could you?
No, absolutely right. Absolutely right. So, but regardless of whether the crowds will be there or not, I guess you're gearing up very much towards it being the stadium ready, looking fantastic. Everything kind of working. I know, working with Ray, you've obviously got the new shop in Centre Court, so you've got all the graphics in there. It's looking fantastic. The whole imagery is looking really strong.
Yeah, I mean, image-wise, we've for the first time ever just over a year ago, we took on a marketing exec. You know, we somebody that could come in and actually help us with stuff like that. Up until then, I've basically been doing all of that on my own, and you know, it was a tough job. I mean, I love doing that kind of stuff, but you know, there's only so much that one person can do. And you know, now with the new stadium, we really did need some professional help, and you know, so we've made the look, and it's come out brilliant. By the way, everything that we're doing graphically looks really smart, and yeah, we've got to take that forward into the stadium. Some of that will be a little bit, you know, it's like get the stadium up, let's get playing, then maybe we'll make it look a bit nicer. There's going to be bits and pieces like that. There'll be room for hopefully a big mural to be done by the local art school, and that kind of thing is what we're after doing. But there will be, the graphics will evolve as time goes on there. And you know, as the club is more successful, we'll be able to do more to make it look better. But you know, the good news is that there are a lot of people around that have a lot of experience in graphics, and we want it to look good. And we want it to look good. You know, I always think that there's, you know, I look at so many things that people do, and I know that from a print point of view, they just waste so much money. Whereas, you know, I won't let that happen, because I know a bit of what I'm talking about.
Yeah, when we talked before, you mentioned that you'd actually been in the print game before, you know, before kind of getting involved in Wimbledon. So what was it you did? Your screen printer, was that right?
Yeah, when I was involved in I started out for an industrial print and packaging company where we did basically boxes and some fancy packaging. Then I went on to a company that specialised in point of sale. So right. we had screen, we had litho, eventually we had digital. And so I've got a general background in just about every form of print you could imagine, really. And I did that for 30 years, and did it in tandem with starting a football club up until I finally got out of the whole business just over 2 years ago. Yeah. I was still working part-time, still had a business. Grew to dislike it a lot, not because of the actual print. I know I did, you know, it was, you know, having to deal with a lot of clients that
I guess it's relationships, isn't it? It's the people you're working with and the relationships you've got. I mean, Ray, Insite really, as a business, built up very much on relationships, didn't it? And
yeah,
kind
absolutely.
Of people, you know.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, our core business is award ceremonies, conferences, B2B exhibitions. So that's how really that business has evolved over the last sort of 20 years. And one of the nice things about AFC is that the conference suite, and Ivor was showing me the other week in the shop, the sort of platinum suite. Is that the big one, the platinum suite?
No, the platinum suite is actually one of the smaller ones. But we've got the two silver lounges, and we've got a huge conference area there. You know, it's going to be fantastic. It's unbelievable. Really,
it holds
really
1,000 people. So for us as a print partner and a business club member, that's the lure that we can help and assist AFC. And when Ivor's got exhibitions or got any event really, it could be an exhibition, it could be a conference, it could even be a private party. Then we're hopefully going to be the sort of the go-to printers as a supplier, along with other people in the business club, because the business club is really community. And you look at the type of companies that are in the business club, it's all different types, Ivor, isn't it? There's legal, there's print, there's marketing, there's retail. And it's just, when you look at the list of it, and you've seen it, Fraser, because you're going to join, aren't you? But it's a really impressive list of industry, and everything's there, and all those people start to interconnect and talk. So it works really well.
And you've got a really
growing, actually.
You've got great scope in a way, Ivor, with that facility, haven't you? Because you've got, you're building a stadium, which obviously on football days are, for football, but it's got the opportunity for other things as well as part of the community, hasn't it?
We're seriously aiming at 7-day-a-week business there. Because we have to sweat that asset, because no one's writing big fat checks for us as a football club. So if we don't make it work, nobody's going to make it work for us. So we are really determined to hit that home.
So have you got that in your mind as a business, thinking, right, well, obviously we've got conference suites, we've got scope there for putting conferences on during the week, and you've also got the stadium. Can it be used for other things? Have you got that opportunity?
Yes, I think we've got amazing opportunities there. not only can we can use the facilities for it if we want to use them. The pitch, you have to be a little bit careful with the pitch, but there's room for other events to go on there, although not straight away, but eventually, there is room there. The pitch is big enough for other sports and things, and it wouldn't surprise us what could happen there. But as far as future opportunities, and really big opportunities actually, we've got planning permission to go to a 21,000 capacity stadium. Now, to do that, we're going to have to use our brains and find other ways to do things, and that we will do by partnering with various different, I won't say industries, but public services, all sorts of things. We could have a medical centre in the East Stand.
Yeah, brilliant. Yeah,
you do that. Basically, that would pay for that East Stand development. And in the South Stand, we could put a hotel. I don't know.
So you're thinking creatively, because in a way it's a blank canvas, isn't it? In the location it is in, which is unique in a way, because let's be honest, obviously you've got some of the other football grounds in the area, but there's nothing like that in that bit of southwest London, is there?
No, the nearest you go to a decent conference facility around Wimbledon is going into town. You hit the Oval and Stamford Bridge.
Of course, yeah.
They're far enough away. And going the other way, you go out to Epsom. Wimbledon Parkside, the hospital. Great big organisation. They have their Christmas do at the
Epsom Downs.
Epsom. The race course. So it's utterly bonkers, really, that there was nowhere, and now there is. We can accommodate 500 for a sit-down dinner, but we could accommodate more than that if you take in all the rest of it. Easily a 1,000 people for a conference would be quite easy to accommodate there. And in point of fact, you could probably get it up to 800, 2,000 people by using other floors and other restaurants and everything. So, there's huge scope there. And we are very well positioned. There is no doubt about that.
It's really good. And Ray, I mean, obviously you've got quite a lot of experience of kitting out stadiums for conferences and various other things. So can you see opportunity here for Insite?
Oh, absolutely, yeah. And whether it's whether it's board, whether it's light boxes, whether it's fabric, all those materials come into play. And I think we'll have to sort of, excuse the pun, to cut our cloth accordingly. So if Ivor's got clients that have got a conference and they've got X amount to spend, then we'll say, okay, well, that's your budget. We'll try and give you the maximum amount of exposure we can for the money that they've got. The other thing to mention is that I've been over at Earlsfield now for 8 years with Insite, but I don't live that far away. The whole, not only the football club, but the whole, is it 600 flats they're building there, is going to regenerate the whole area.
Yeah,
and all in the past when the dogs were there, sorry to mention the dogs, it was quite the Speedway. It was a little bit downtrodden. It wasn't a place you'd naturally take your wife to, but I could just see the area and all the restaurants and the businesses. Everyone's got up their game because all those influx of people, and those flats aren't cheap to buy. And therefore, the whole area will be regenerated, and from pubs to restaurants to clubs.
Very good point, Ivor.
I've got a great point here that within less than a 5 mile radius, you've got over 10,000 £1 million plus homes.
There you go.
Yeah, exactly.
It is very, very ripe for all sorts of ideas. And I've got many creative, mad things going around in my head that we do, and it will help to put Wimbledon back on the map, not just a football club.
I think you're right. I think that sense that the area. Obviously, there's an up. Everyone's very upbeat about it. It's new stadium, as Ray says. It's all the new blocks of flats going in, so it's kind of gentrifying that little bit of Wimbledon, of Earlsfield. That's good for the community. It's good for the town. It's also a great opportunity. It's just like we said before, blank canvas. You've got a huge opportunity to make something of that. Really, haven't you? It's really exciting.
100%. 100%. I mean, one of the things, my print works were down Hayden's Road. And I started work there before Wimbledon moved out of Flower Lane. Mm-hmm. So it was great. I had about a season of every time there was a midweek game, I'd finish work and walk straight to the ground. And I can't tell you how much I enjoyed doing that. It was a great buzz. But to see what happened to that area when the ground moved out, that corner, it fell apart. I mean, it really did. And people don't realise that how important the football ground is for the economy around it. It's really, really something important. So the local fish and chip shops and the small businesses around there are all going to benefit again hugely. And I'm just delighted about that.
Yeah, of course.
Yeah, that's good news.
Of course, it is a great thing. And I guess from the point of view of the businesses that are around the area, you obviously Insite one of them. You talked about the AFC Wimbledon Business Club, which is positive. Are the businesses upbeat about what's going on and the sense that, this is happening, lots of things happening?
It's incredible, to be honest with you. I mean, our commercial revenues at the moment are pretty much surging, and we are getting deals from people that and quite frankly, some of the businesses that are doing deals with us, I'm quite surprised at the size of the deals, some of them, which is a really nice thing. But locally, we are talking to local businesses like we've never been able to talk to them before, and people are very open to us. I just, again, this whole COVID thing is.
I was going to ask you whether you feel, the timing of this, you'd obviously say, well, I wish it wasn't as bad as this, but you've sensed that this is sort of light, there's a light there that's sort of shining in, a positivity.
Oh, 100%. Yeah. It really is, but, it's still, I've lost a couple of really big deals on the back of the COVID thing, which, 3 months ago was really bugging me. And I was very worried at that time. Since then, we've managed to pull off several deals. And again, that surprised me the other way. I think we'd be a much more wealthy football club now if it wasn't for COVID.
And I think most people would say the same. I guess what's interesting is that, some people have managed to sort of make an opportunity out of this crisis kind of thing and not let it get in the way. Kind of, this is happening, but Ray, I noticed the other day that you were doing sort of 2 metre stickers for the floor and this kind of thing. It's kind of opportunity, isn't it?
It is. I mean, the fact that we've been hit, anyone involved in the event sector, whether you're a contractor, whether you're a venue, or whether you're printers like us or any other contractor service, in March when it came along, it was like someone turning off a tap, if I'm honest, in terms of revenue. But we're a small business, medium size, so you've got to sort of adapt to that. So we have done a certain amount of COVID-19 floor stickers, and we've got the Zoom 3-metre cutter, so we can cut those plastic screens you see, for social distancing, etc. It's been tough. We've used some of the time to look at ourselves and how we're going to develop and what we need for the future, and brush up on some of the eco-sustainable fabric that's around. So. For ISO 14001, we've got that accreditation. So it sort of holds your breath time. And we're hopefully with events, they should come back. It'll be very drip feed. It'll be very slowly for awards in London and B2B events. Somewhere like Olympia will probably start in around October, but it'll be quite a slow process. And with all the social thing, we've seen with distancing, etc., keeping apart. But we're sort of really now looking towards next year, looking towards the event calendar in 2021, and sort of we can hang on, adjust ourselves as a business and survive, because a lot of contractors have gone out of business in the event sector. We furloughed some staff, we made some adjustments and took a deep breath. But don't worry, we're opposite AFC Wimbledon. That's going to keep us afloat.
But you talked a little bit about sustainability. I just wonder there whether, there's definitely a sense in the print industry that the strategic approach to sustainability hasn't stopped just because of COVID.
No.
Everyone's going to be considering this sustainability long term. Do you sense that's right? Do you sense that continue?
Of course, yeah. I mean, this thing about landfill and the days of exhibitions years ago, and I've been in exhibitions nearly sort of 35 years, it'd be a load of Fomex, they'd chuck it into the skip and it'd be landfill. And venues, contractors, organisers, they want that accreditation. They want to have sustainable, eco-friendly footfall, whether it be the visitors coming to they're cycling to the venue, the contractors supplying some eco-friendly fabric. So, yeah, there's a big drive for that, and lots of organisers are behind it. And so is the government, in fairness. This drive towards zero carbon footprint it won't go away, and it's a good thing. Every business wants to have that, that carbon reduced.
Is that something either that AFC Wimbledon are, obviously new stadium, is sustainability in there as a factor?
Yeah, totally embraced at every level. Yes, we're very careful with what we're doing and how we're doing it, and was there more we could do? I don't think so. Certainly not affordably, but we are very conscious of it. So we're making great strides in all those areas. To be honest, you just have to now. You have to. You can't be any other way. And quite right too.
I think that's what I was saying. It's a sort of a sense that it's a strategic imperative. It's not, COVID's come along. It's caused a disruption to a lot of things, but still this idea that sustainability long term is important, and in materials used in a new build it's important. Materials you use in graphics important. All these things doesn't stop, does it?
No, it's true.
No,
it's good. Gents, I just wonder whether there's any final points you'd like to make. You mentioned earlier, and I think it's worth just reiterating for the people listening, the AFC Wimbledon Business Club. Ivor, do you just want to explain, give us a quick what that's about, just in case anyone's interested?
Well, actually, to not to bore everybody too much, but the way we started this business club was loads of people were saying to me, we need to do something. I've been to several different kind of networking events.
Yep.
And hand on heart, I can't stand them. I don't like them. Don't enjoy them. I find some of it, people standing up there telling me how I should run my business and so on. I don't really want to hear it, to be honest with you. I want help. I want to be able to go and talk to people. I want to be able to seek people's advice. But I noticed that things were, they just weren't going the way I wanted on that front. And people going to events with name badges on was something that I thought, this isn't the way I used to do my business. I used to go and, but in the print, and the print taught me this, was that if you couldn't go out 4 or 5 nights a week, get absolutely hammered and get into work the next morning on time and do a full day's work and then go and do it all again, you weren't going to be in the print industry for long. That was the way I was brought up in the industry, and that is very true.
Yeah.
So I having looked at the way other people were doing stuff, I thought, no, let's go back to the old ways. Let's go back to making every single event fun, and make it sociable. So people come to our events, and there's always a hook to them that makes them really good fun. There's not loads of people talking at you or loads of experts in the industry or whatever. It is a question of socialising with people in business, not necessarily in your area, not necessarily in your field, but somewhere along the line, you will hook onto someone that will be really interesting for you. And I've got loads for you, by the way. One person who I know will love talking to you, like you can't believe. Mr. Ryan, right? As Rye Group, as they're now known, he's been into massive, loud, garish graphics for years, and has made a massive success off the back of it. So it's really worth talking to, and it's just wonderful. So the business club is there for people that want to enjoy socialising around business and making really good contacts, old-fashioned way, over a glass of wine, over a pint, and enjoying the event they go to.
But it's also, I guess it's also about you guys creating a sense of community, not necessarily just around the club, but the sense that, it's about community, it's about connection, it's about carrying on talking to people, isn't it? And that's one thing that's really important, throughout this kind of COVID crisis, that people carry on talking to each other, carry on having these kind of conversations, because an idea springs out of this, doesn't it? Or opportunity springs out of this.
What's really good?
Absolutely.
Go on, sorry, Ray.
I'll just say, which is an example, every year, not this year sadly, but AFC Business Club do a breakfast meeting. Lovely sausage, egg, black pudding, glass of champagne. It's brilliant. And Ivor hosts that. The manager would come along. They do it on a day when they release the fixtures out. And you sit there and it's so relaxed. And I end up talking to other people in the print business, other people in insurance. And as Ivor said, it's done in a very relaxed way. You don't even realise it. You come away with 2 or 3 business cards and it starts a conversation. But it's the farthest thing away from a networking event you could ever be. It's just like-minded people having a laugh and a drink together, really.
Yeah.
Fun, isn't it?
Sorry, go on, you say, Ivor.
Yeah, it's an old school way of doing things, but that breakfast that you mentioned. See, the minute anyone turns around to me and says, "Come to a networking breakfast," I'm like, "No, thanks. No, I'm not going to do that because I know exactly what happens with them, and I don't like that." But our one breakfast a year, the hook is you get the fixtures. 15 minutes earlier than everybody else, half an hour earlier maybe. But then you actually get the manager of the team that's about to get the fixtures talking to you, and hopefully another football expert, and it turns into, it's meant to be over by 10:30, but the last time it ran on till about 12:30, because everyone was just really enjoying it, really bought in, and it's an amazing start to a day, I can assure you. But it's not what a classic networking breakfast.
But I like that idea, and often they talk about this. People who are business people who want to come up with new ideas, want to create new connections. They're the guys that are true innovators, and they don't stay in their own circle, carrying on in their own circle. They go to different meetings with different people they wouldn't normally mingle with, and they just find new connections. And that's what this is about, isn't it?
Yeah.
About connecting.
Yeah, I think you mentioned community, and I think that the thing about our whole football club and our relationships in that football club, be they business, be they suppliers, be they fans, be they people that live around the area and the expanding area, everything is about community. Everything we do reverberates around the community, and we are a massive force for good. What the Dons Local Action Group have done is more than any other football club has done, and that's carrying on. They're still doing that, and it's utterly incredible. And and it's done in our name. I mean, you couldn't ask for more, could you? Really?
No, that's really good. And also, working closely with companies like Insite, very much that's very much what you're thinking, isn't it? Being part of this community, making sure you're there. Ray, be part of that. It's been good.
Yeah, we've always bought our meat from village butchers. The best meat going, that is.
Fantastic. And on that note, gents, thank you very much for both of your time. It's been really interesting just to hear
Fraser.
a bit of
really
that.
Good.
It's good to hear about how important community is, connections are, how keeping business going. That's really crucial. So thank you to both of you.